Thank you once again for making Locked On Cougars and Locked On Sun Devils your first listen of the day. Jay Catch, Richie Bradshaw along for the ride here. All right, Richie. So I'm obviously up here in Utah, but I do keep tabs on ASU down there in the Valley. And one of my favorite things about the way that Kenny Dillingham approaches his coaching style is he wants nothing more than the best for his football players. And he is absolutely unabashed. Every time it seems like he opens his mouth to talk about his players, he's encouraging ASU fans to donate to the collectives. I think, is it the Sun Angel Collective is the main one for the university? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I love about it is he wants to make sure that NIL is at the forefront of everybody's minds, because it really is the forefront of a lot of these players' minds in many respects, because they're wondering, okay, how much money can I get? Where can I get it? And I think Kenny Dillingham, much like Kalani Sitake at BYU, he wants to make it as advantageous for these players to remain where they're at or pick ASU or BYU in this respect. But it's a different style, because Kalani Sitake is not out as much as a guy like Kenny Dillingham is, and saying, hey, donate to the Royal Blue Collective, which is BYU's endorsed collective up here in Utah. But what do you make of that? What do you make of the way that Kenny Dillingham approaches all this?
Well, unfortunately for ASU, it's almost out of necessity that Kenny Dillingham has to be as proactive as he is, to a point where I know a lot of people have seen it as like, wow, it feels like all he cares about is money and this, that, and the other. And I've seen that, and I'm like, well, that's not the whole scope of things. Because I sit there, I'm like, do you like winning? Because if you like winning, right now it's pay to win. And should it be that way? No. But that's the way that the current landscape of college football is. Now, we'll have to see how things settle over the next few years with the House settlement coming in and all that good stuff to hopefully try and even the playing field. But ASU is just a volatile team in the sense that, as I've said many a times before, there's so much to do in Phoenix. It's one of the biggest metropolitan cities in the country. You are a 2-hour drive away from Flagstaff. So if you want to get out of the heat and go hang out with the snow, you can go a little further and go to Snowball. You are like a 5-6 hour drive away from Rocky Point. Las Vegas is 4 hours away. San Diego is about 4 or 5 hours away. You got tons of golf courses. It's good weather for 8 months out of the year, as long as you can get past triple digits. There is a ton to do. So if you don't put a good product on the football field, I am not paying money to go see it.
Okay.
There's just better things I can do. So when you have a team that capitalizes on what they did last year and caught everyone off guard, okay, well, now's the time to get everyone in, because as Arizona Cardinal fans can tell you, and certainly recently as Phoenix Suns fans can tell you, when your team is good, you got a loyal fan base. It was very difficult to get yourself a ticket to, back then, the Footprint Arena for the Phoenix Suns. I'm not sure what it is now. I feel like it changes every 6 months, but they were like the ticket to see. You know, everyone wanted to go see a good basketball team. 10 years prior to that, I remember some people were like, you couldn't pay me to go see a game because I don't want to pay the parking to go to the game. Like, it's difficult to have Arizona sports fans consistently be able to be dialed in to this program because of how much there is to do. I'm not saying it's right. I certainly lean towards the other side of it, but that's just the situation that ASU and really just Valley sports tend to face. Is if you're not good, you're not going to really get the support. We saw at the end of the year that ASU was having true sellouts, not the pseudo like, hey, all the seats are sold and they're still chunk up in the rafters and aren't there. They had true sellouts by the end of the year. BYU was a true sellout because they had something worth seeing. ASU is trying to make sure that they can make that a thing going forward. Kenny Dillingham is being so proactive about it because ASU could lose it like that. Now, if they sustain the success for a handful of years, that's not going to be as difficult. But you're trying to prove you're not a Cinderella team right now, even to your own fans.
Well, and that kind of is where I think BYU, in their respect, BYU behind the scenes is encouraging everybody who's interested in BYU athletics to contribute. I just don't think that Kalani Sitake either feels a need or feels it's appropriate, I guess, in a way, because this is a this is a church school, and it almost feels like you're pandering to a religion type element when you're saying, hey, give us money, give us money. But we had a BYU administrator on my radio station up here in Salt Lake City, Robbie Bosco. Funny enough, he's the quarterback who led BYU to that national championship back in 1984. He's now a fundraiser for the athletic department. And his point was, Richie, more often than not, we're hitting up the same people time and time again saying, hey, we need more money. That's just a simple fact of life. I think it's the same thing down at ASU, that these fundraisers are having to go back to the same well time and time again. And the concern that Robbie had, and he expressed it, is that, hey, we don't want to ruin relationships over hitting these people up for money time after time. So we have to, as you mentioned, A, put a good product on the field, but also B, make sure we have a true relationship with these high level boosters who have got these hopefully infinitely deep pockets that can contribute, in this case, to ASU or BYU. And I think that's, I guess that's where the contrast comes in, where BYU absolutely is hounding money wherever they can get it from. They're just not out in front as a guy like Kenny Dillingham has been, in terms of when he speaks to the media. Hey, make sure you contribute to the Sun Angel Collective.
Yeah, and it's just such a different atmosphere that you have, because, like you said, BYU is backed by the I don't want to say backed by the church, but
the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. There you go.
Right. It's a religious institute, so there's a lot of different financial revenue streams that go to the university that are very different from a public university like Arizona State, or a private university like Texas A&M, who is also just very well funded all the time. So BYU, I agree with you that it would feel almost pandering if Kalani Sitake was coming out after every BYU practice and doing what Kenny Dillingham was doing, and it would come across very differently to BYU fans and supporters and members of the church compared to how it looks for ASU fans and former alumni and stuff like that. And again, there's already some people who don't like that Kenny's doing it, but it's like he's doing what he has to do.
Yeah.
It's adapt or die in sports, and that's the way that college sports are right now, not just college football. So the thing that ASU needs to be able to find a way to surface this is there are several boosters within the Valley that have those deep pockets that ASU is looking to obtain. And you're still having to sell yourself to them right now. But BYU has so much great funding behind them. You have the owner of the Utah. Did they settle on the Yeti, right?
The Jazz and the Mammoth. That's what the Mammoth.
The Mammoth. That's right. Yeah. So
Right.
got
yeah.
there. That's a good revenue stream there.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Tech has their oil money. I don't know if you saw, Kansas just got a $500 million donation from one of their alumni. Houston's got good money. Like there are boosters for ASU at that level. Just haven't been able to find them yet. And if they are able to get their attention and wake them up and say, hey, we got something going on here. And if you like what you're seeing, we can keep this thing going, and we can keep this thing going for a while. It's just a matter of getting to that point. So I think that's another really interesting thing, is just how different the circumstances are for ASU looking to get money compared to if Kenny Dillingham was at BYU and was doing the same thing. It is a very different scope, and it's fascinating. It truly is.
Yeah, there's no right way to go about it, but the simple fact of life is you got to somehow find $20.5 million and distribute it, and that money doesn't grow on trees. Let's just be very blunt about it, Richie. All right,
yeah.
So, it's a crazy time, obviously, in college athletics, but it's also pretty topsy-turvy in the Big 12 conference. And Richie and I, we've got thoughts on what we think the league's going to do this year. And, the season's not far off. So we're going to kind of delve into it and kind of give our picks for who we think is going to settle atop the Big 12. And I got a thought that Richie probably, I think we know where he's going with his favorite, but we'll get to that next right here on Locked On Cougars and Locked On Sun Devils.